So, hello there. My name's Theresa Croft. I'm part of Michelle Tufford's team here at the Best Group on Facebook. And I'm so excited to have just a few moments. See, I'm making myself be short in words because I go live at 11 in prayer time. So, listen. I like to ask this question. By the way, I'm Theresa Croft. I'm a former radio announcer in marketing since 2009. Love video, love reels. If you watch that reel down there, that's not my normal reel singing, but I love I love connecting with you guys. Some of you I've gotten to connect personally, and it's been really awesome. So, but I wanted to talk about something real quick. Do you ever wonder, am I doing the right thing, or why? Well, this just isn't lighting me up. Like, let's say in business, did a business, you're in a business, you're like, yeah, this is what I need to do. This is what I'm supposed to do. But let me ask you a question. And this, I think, based on what I've asked people and seeing what they're doing now, truly fully in their identity, I see that what they did when they played in their younger age had a lot to do with what they're doing now. So let me kind of set a stage. Like, there's threads to your identity. So, threads to my identity. Can I just tell a little story? When I was real young, we lived in this old house, and they had these big steps. Well, maybe they weren't big, but to a 6, 7 year old, they were huge. And my idea of fun was climbing up those steps and preaching. I was Catholic. It was a good homily. In that same old house, I'm going to date myself. My dad brought home what was then modern technology, a tape recorder, and a mic. It was not a Walkman, so I'm really dating myself. And that was just like marvel technology. Well, I would sneak when my dad left for work. He hid it under the bed, but I knew where it was. I'd sneak it into my room, and I would just talk into that thing and listen to my voice over and over and over. I was working on my comedy act, thought I was really funny. And then I had 4 brothers. Each of them came to me separately and said, Theresa, the only one who's laughing is mom. So maybe I ditched the comedy act. It's kind of resurfacing in my 60s. But anyway, I'm only 60, Theresa. So that was something that was lined in my DNA. My idea of fun was talking into a microphone. Just a note, we later moved to a house that only had 2 steps. I was like, I remember one day playing like just 2 steps. This isn't working for me. But I noticed an apple cart. So I tipped that apple cart, the lengthways, got up on that wobbly thing. I had accepted Jesus now. So I really did. Preach to the birds, the bees, and the apple trees. They needed Jesus. So that was kind of like wired. Apple cart. Since 2008, I've opened an Apple product, from a computer to a MacBook Pro to a phone with filters, of course, Apple phone, speaking what God has given me, being able to speak. So this is the deal. I think as God wires that into your DNA. By the way, I became a professional golfer. I was I was all-American collegiate. And I thought if I could just play good enough, I'd have a platform to preach. Well, I crashed and burned after 3 years as a pro. But you know what did God do? That guy, he closed his eyes and said, Theresa, you're going to get into a radio station. And it was funny because I just happened to give my demo tape, and I didn't see the advertisement. If I would have saw the advertisement, I wouldn't have applied because it said 2 years experience. I gave it a tape that I used to make for my friends on the golf tour called the KYSS radio station, speaking into microphone music. That was my demo tape to get into a radio station, where for 15 and a half years, I got paid to speak, to pray on the air. So what is in your DNA? What do you feel like when you're played? Now, listen. I understand. I get it. You might have had a real traumatic childhood. I am so sorry. But it's not lost. I have a friend who had a brain injury at 3 years old. Do you know what she's doing today? She's neurocycle. She, under Dr. Caroline Leaf, she's working on people's brains. So you say, no, Theresa, you're not getting me, girl. I had a traumatic childhood. I suffered. And what I would say is when you get healing, when you come from a place of that healing and transformation, guess what? You get to speak to the person you once were. So, as you're going about your business, maybe you feel stuck, okay? Sometimes that stuckness might be just resistance, because this is where it's part of the resistance where you're going in your lane. Resistance happens. A lot of times it's part of the journey. And if, as you learn to, perseverance is a muscle of your faith, you come through that stuckness and things light up again. So I just want to ask you, what did you like to do when you were young? You know, I asked that question. Now I have a podcast. That's my own radio station. Who figures? I've been going into 5 years, but this last year I've asked my guests, what did you do when you were young? And this last guest, it was so precious. She goes, I played stage. And she now has every day she goes live on Facebook with a devotional time. I asked Michelle Tufford when the businesswoman, she used to play this Barbie business thing, and it was all had to do with business. I had another friend, she used to color in a coloring book and then gently rip out the page and sell the page. She's amazing marketing, amazing corporate woman. So I want to encourage you. Sometimes our beliefs determine our emotions. And I think the greatest place where you can get your beliefs stored up, is through your identity. You might need to go back in your mind. Is what you're doing now light you up? Now, granted, there are things that are difficult. They don't light you up. But I just challenge you. Go back to your childhood. What did you like to do? And let's talk identity. Let's talk. I'm T on Tuesday. Let's talk some of those things and see if we can't light a fire. Because I really believe if you feel voiceless, there is a time for God to heal you and find your voice with a total transformation of finding your voice from identity so you can speak, serving the person you once were. I look forward to talking to you